Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Today I'm going to talk about a super tricky and fun opening, the Ponziani-Steinitz Gambit. As an example of its power, in the game I'm going to talk about today, I had a completely winning position with the black pieces at -10 on move 6 of the opening, with the opponent largely playing natural-looking moves. I'm going to give a shout out to Gotham Chess, who recently covered this gambit in his video, of which I learnt a lot. I had previously tried this gambit twice before, but it got caught up in complications with me not knowing any of the theory. Please enjoy. Let's start a very quick review. So this was a fairly short game, so only 17 moves, and as you can see, the the gambit actually leads to a apparent small advantage to white, but it's more of a theoretical advantage given that we don't play like computers. And very soon afterwards, the opponent makes a move that gives this -10, over -10 advantage to black. So let's have a look at this game in analysis. So I have the black pieces. So the opponent starts with the Italian. E4, E5, knight F3, I play knight C6, and bishop C4. So basically the beginning of the Giuoco Piano if I sort of move my bishop. Now so those who follow my channel know I really don't like playing against the Giuoco Piano as black. It ends up being usually often quite positional, and I never remember the theory well, and so I generally at this level lose against Italian players. So recently what I've been doing is playing the two knights defense, and the two knights defense in this setup basically invites a fried liver attack, which is knight to G5. And in this position, the reason I've been inviting the potential fried liver, it looks fairly scary looking. Knight captures pawn on F7, forking the queen and rook, and that position's defended by the bishop. So that looks fairly scary. Now, the reason why I might invite that is potentially there is the Traxler Counterattack, and basically what that potentially looks like is bishop to C5. If white takes anyway, then black takes the pawn, and basically the potential goal is hoping that the king will capture the bishop. That then allows another check, and depending on where the king goes, with the knight now moved, the queen can come out as well, and lots of fun can ensue. However, with the Traxler, what I've typically found is I suspect people at this level doesn't know about the Traxler, and so they know the best move is for the king to not to take the bishop, and then usually it becomes quite a bit harder to play as black when effectively white doesn't accept the gambited bishop. And I found that I have just lost all my games with Traxler. I just don't know the theory as well as the people playing the Italian. So, so recently I've sort of discovered this other gambit, which is the Ponziani-Steinitz Gambit, which is where the knight captures pawn on E4, ostensibly looks a bit ridiculous, and basically gambiting that knight, so inviting the opponent to capture the knight back. And so that's one of the lines. And if the opponent does capture knight back, it's winning for black, because then you have a straight up fork of their knight and bishop, and it's good times. Black is definitely ahead in this position. Now, in this game, what the opponent opted to do, which I believe is a fairly common maneuver, is they continued with the attack, so it continued with the attempt of the fried liver, and we'll see what happens then. So the best move in this game is actually for bishop to take, which then forces the king forward, like in a spawn cloud fashion. And that's probably the more complicated line. And hopefully in that setting, the opponent will capture, king captures bishop, and then it's still pretty much okay for black. But certainly you don't end up in a positional game afterwards. It's quite an aggressive, yeah, fun game. High risk, certainly you can lose, but, opportunities to do some traps and win as well. Now, in this game, I think the opponent did probably the thing that would be the most natural. So, it looks like that. People might see that, there's a fork coming. And then they say, look, is there any reason not to continue their plan? The very reason they make the knight attack is to try to do the fried liver. And so they attempted to do the fried liver. So knight captures the pawn in f7, which should have been sort of the entire logic of coming to this square in the first place. However, in this, when this occurs, you now have the devastating move, queen to h4. Great move, and you can see already equalized. So definitely, if white plays very accurately at this point, they're not really at a disadvantage. But in this position, there's lots and lots of funny traps. So potentially, if the opponent tried to, let's say they tried to play pawn, which is sort of a natural looking move, you win by basically, you can see it's a blunder, by capturing, and then it's all bad, because if this captures with check, very, very bad. If this captures, check, and you can capture again. So very, very, very bad for white. And, and you also sort of take out the potential defenses of the king. King is almost certainly forced to move at some point. So, potentially losing the right to castle, looking very, very good. Now, in this game, my opponent probably saw the problems with trying to move a pawn. And obviously, they had to do something, because if you couldn't see, that is basically a mate in one threat. So they have to do something. So, if they just went and gobbled, mate in one, very nice. So they protected with the queen. So queen to f3, and this is where on move 6, minus a 10. And why is it minus 10? Well, this knight can now move forward. So knight to d4, again with an attack on the queen, looking very, very bad for white, looking very scary. They now try to play the pawn move, but basically it doesn't work, because they didn't see that knight captures queen comes with check. King forced to move, another check, king forced to move. Here I opted to capture the bishop. So according to Stockfish, that would have been better. There's sort of a mate in 8 apparently there. But what I saw here was captures. They're going to capture one of these pieces. Then I'll whack that knight. Basically, I'm completely good. Their pieces are, not in a good place. And, discover check again, block, that's fine, captures, there we go. And at this point, they try to make some sacrifices, but, it's lost, isn't it? Basically a mating net. Opponent now hangs another fork. So basically, that gambit, that attack on the king side, you're just a little bit faster, potentially, just a bit faster than the opponent's fried liver attack. It sort of decimates the defense of the king on that side. The queen, the white queen, is easily trapped. Such a fun, fun trappy, system and gambit. And the opponent played relatively normal looking, natural looking moves. So good game, GG. I really like this gambit. When I play with the black pieces and the opponent plays the Italian game, I previously always found myself drawn into a positional game of the Giuoco Piano. This just isn't my style, as I prefer more tactical and aggressive games. I've tried playing the two knights defense to lure my opponent into playing the fried liver and then striking back with the Traxler Counterattack, but my experience at my level in 30-minute rapid games is that Italian players knew enough theory to avoid the traps and basically outplay me. I've lost every game I've tried with the Traxler. I think this opening is great for people like me who don't like playing against the Giuoco Piano, as once the opponent commits to the knight attack, the gambit forces the game down one of 3 lines, which blows up the position in a fun and aggressive way. I hope you found this video interesting, and thanks for watching.